planted.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of SpikeTalk. It's a little bit of a milestone over here. We're 10 episodes deep. We missed out last week, but that's because I had a last-minute trip to Bali. One of my friends got married, and I was in Shanghai. So I just want to talk about Shanghai right off the rip, bro. That was a crazy final. I think Heretics did a lot better than what people thought that they were going to do. What did you think about the final, FrosT? Because we haven't talked about it yet.
It was a great finals. It could have went
How'd I cast, bro?
either way. I thought you did great, and I'm very happy that you and D were able to cast the finals. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing if you guys do that also at Champs. That would be dope, especially if I'm there. Especially if we're in the finals. Could you imagine?
That'd be so crazy. Yeah.
Gub brought that up to me the other day. Like, he's like, "Yo, could you imagine if?" I was like, "Actually, that would be hilarious." I only have one request. If that does happen, you need to be the interviewer at the end. That's my only request.
Bet. So
you need to make that
it's locked in. It's locked in. Don't worry.
Yeah, but you guys did a fantastic job. You guys did a fantastic fucking job. I thought that was great. I thought the game was great. It was probably one of the better best of fives finals I can remember. Seriously? Maybe only Sentinels FNATIC at the first Reykjavik I was more like enthralled by, but it was a pretty good finals. I, however, remember I was very high on both these teams in the very beginning, from the very beginning.
Literally.
So I was certainly not surprised that this ended up being the finals. I don't think I predicted Heretics to make the finals, but I thought they did great. I mean, being able to do that. I hope paTiTek does get an opportunity. I don't know technically where he will. I was surprised FNATIC didn't sign him. I know they looked at it, but because I thought he did great.
Yeah, I mean, he played phenomenal. He's 6th man of the year. I mean, afterwards, because like after every event, right, has like a little after party with like production with everybody, and he was there. Some of the guys of Heretics were there. He was one of them, and he's actually a really chill dude too. A really fun ass guy to hang out with. And yeah, I just kept hyping him up. I'm like, bro, you're 6th man of the year. No one's touching you, bro. Like, I hope he gets picked up. It's just, dude, it's so hard to make a team right now. Like, it's just so political, and then also it's like, where do you even go? A lot of these teams already got players, but they could use him. There's tons of teams that could use him for sure.
100%.
It's just where.
And next year, from what I'm hearing, Tier 2 is going to be a desert, so it's tough.
Rough.
It is tough. Rough. But Shanghai was dope. Great tournament. APAC's first title. Yeah.
It's kind of bittersweet for APAC, huh? Because it's like everyone's been so hyped on, DRX and who else? DRX and PRX. Everyone's been like, oh yeah, like surely one of these teams gets the first title for APAC, and then it's just Gen.G. But like they earned it, bro. They got that. You talking about they got second? Honestly, they probably could have won the first event in Madrid.
They kind of threw, bro.
They kind of threw that. Right?
That's certainly true that they could have. I have an issue with verbiage that you use, which we'll skip. But I'll say though, I actually saw a little bit of PRX's content in Shanghai, and I'm a little amused by some of the things I heard. I'll just say that. So it's like I think I can understand why they weren't the ones, and I think that is certainly a reflection. I think of the level of professionalism that probably needs to be elevated. And I say that knowing that my team is not also the most professional roster I've ever had also. So, we work at it every day and we're still not there. But happy for APAC. They got there first. I know they were everybody's little brother region for a while, which I've never agreed with, because I think skill-wise, they're just probably as good. I think there are other areas of the game where obviously APAC has massive flaws, and I think those flaws prohibited them from doing it. I think Gen.G, I think in some ways they don't have the same weakness. Like their game IQ seems really high, but I think it's really more a system gameplay thing, because they're also, in my opinion, still one of the easiest teams to anti. But they're so effective at what they do. It's like, who cares? It's like LeBron's like FU3. They're like, it's coming. Like he does a little hezzy, then he's like, It's like everyone knows it's happening. You just can't stop it. Yeah, it's basically like that's what Gen.G reminds me of. It's like everyone knows they're going to 4-1. Everyone knows they're going to silent walk up. Even Leviathan with Aspas couldn't stop it, and I thought he was like the best player against 4-1s.
For real.
So yeah, so they're just like masters of their craft. Someone asked me though if they think that this team will also win champions because they won the last tournament so close, and I literally said absolutely not, because not only is I think the format structure a little bit different, but if we're going to be completely honest, there's no way teams go there unprepared dealing with 4-1s now. You might have been able to get away with it before, especially if Gen.G, let's say, were out earlier because you may have overlooked them. They might surprise you. You're not surprising anyone anymore. You made second and first. So when you go into your breakdown as a coach of like, who are the strongest teams in the tournament, and if you want to win a tournament, who are you going to have to get past? If Gen.G's not one of those teams that you're studying to be like, okay, we need to stop this style. We need to stop like PRX's fast style. Like you have to be able to stop fast teams, slow teams, heavy pivot teams, macro teams, super micro teams that have like, bait setups, trap setups, like, all that. Like if you're not prepared for these things, you're not going to make a deep run and you're not going to win a tournament.
Yeah, 100%.
So now Gen.G is basically on every coach's list.
And yeah, definitely. And also entire new meta too, potentially, right? Like I don't know if will 4-1s even work. I'm sure you can contact will always be an aspect of the game. But I mean, yeah, now you got to deal with the neon, you got to deal with the new ISO stuff. It's a lot. It's a big change.
Yes.
No teams have had to really play it yet. I don't believe. Yeah,
right.
Like even in EMEA, I think the first week patch is still the old one, and then second week it's a little bit of a newer one. But I think just now, maybe week 3 for a lot of these. Is it week 3 already for you, or is it week 2 for you?
2, bro. Don't even get me started on this. We played PRX. This is right now.
It's kind of bullshit. In 2 days. Yo. I have to say it's kind of bullshit that you guys
spending a whole off season on 8.11, and then I have to play PRX on 8.10, a meta that they just literally went deep in a tournament with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say.
Don't even get me started, bro. Don't even, bro. But yes, it's tough. Yeah, but NA gets to play all their games on 8.11, which means all their practices on 8.11, which means that they don't have to worry about, Breeze.
0 team region.
Unlucky, bro. Unlucky, bucko. All good, though. Thanks, Ryan.
All good. Speaking of NA, we'll just talk about some of the news. It's official. pANcada is on loud. I don't know. I think we talked about it a bunch already. We didn't gotta even go into it. I think it's gonna be good. I think you brought up something. I think you brought up something that's 100% true. Is that I think Sadhak is running it down on Neon.
Yep.
He's been doing it in ranked. I'm pretty sure he's doing it in scrims.
Yeah, because he figures.
That's cool.
Yeah. He figures I could just go in and die, make space for you guys, and I can.
And then
just
IGL
dead.
Dude,
yeah,
and that's like the Kerrigan approach, no? Like from CS,
100%.
Totally, yeah. And it makes sense because on Neon, bro, the chances of you actually living on Neon are so low. I mean, like even if you're set up perfectly, bro. I mean, there's a chance you just get spammed through the wall. There's a chance the guy peeks into your wall. There's so many variables that have to do with entering as Neon that are just so hard to do. Obviously, really good Neons like Governor, like Mini Boo, even low key Osmos is fire on Neon, by the way. I know we played it last year and it was on, was it last year or the year before? And it was on Fracture, and it just the comp that they were running at the time didn't really make sense because it was like double initiator Neon. Double controller Neon. Sorry, you want double initiator. That's what I meant to say. So he kind of got left out to dry, but he still put up big numbers, bro. And
Leaf too. Leaf is also an undercover Neon that no one talks about, right?
But he's not gonna be playing Neon.
I know, but I'm saying he's
fire.
Good on it.
He's fire. Yeah.
Sure,
the Lotus Neon when C9 ran that was some cold shit, bro.
Oh, bro, they mopped. Yeah.
That was some hella good macro when I watched that team play. The way that even just like throwing the stun, dipping instantly, this was shit that nobody was really doing at all. You know what I mean? Like we're showing on purpose, and then all of a sudden you want to speed up C because you think the Neon's fighting A. Right. Oh, motherfucker's right there with another stun. Now he only has one, but still. Now he's got million slides, bro.
Yeah, that nerf Yeah. But I will say though that I think Governor would certainly agree with you with everything you just said, except for the fact that if you're coached by me, it's much worse because I literally he's just a decoy most times, and Joseph is the benefactor of most of it. So it's like, yeah, I think all those Neon players you mentioned, including Sadhawk, would hate playing Neon for me. Well, actually, no, Sadhawk would be the only one that might like playing for me.
Maybe Angel
Everybody
too,
else
bro.
would be like, nah, fuck that, bro.
Maybe Angel Neon too, bro.
Yeah, because I ruined their stats because it's just Neon causes. She's like gravity. She, in my opinion, outside of Chamber and the Chamber meta, no character pulls as much gravity as Neon. No character. It's like
you gotta deal with
everyone
it.
is so deathly afraid of just getting.
Yeah. Maybe ISO now. Maybe ISO with the shield. When you hear that shield pop, shield pop, bro, you're like, oh fuck, I'm either dipping or like I'm just free firing the corner, hoping I get the tag on his armor before he swings.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet in matches, so I don't know. But I can promise you, I can promise you, especially against T1, the amount of gravity that Peter pulled was just made the game way easier. The problem with that also is, obviously, you're not going to have a successful game by the stats. You'll have a lot of team success, but individually, which is what most people gauge duelists by, you're never going to be the guy unless the defense or the enemy has just a lot of mistakes and breakdowns, and then obviously, but if you're playing against a good team, a disciplined team, it's going to be someone else, especially at the lurk spot, that is going to get all the space and one-on-ones that they want, which is going to open up everything for your game. So
that's pretty much what our bread and butter was when we played the Neon comp like a couple of years ago on FaZe. It was like basically during that chamber meta, it was like a 1-2 punch. I created all the space, all the commotion, and then Dicey would just clean the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
So it works, bro. It works, and I never. So for me as a duelist, especially on Neon, I knew pretty much everything that you were saying. It's actually really hard to go positive on Neon, like in this game in general.
Yeah.
But I just know that those couple entries that I do get, bro, make it so much easier on my team. And if I live and kill a couple people, bro, like we won the round. You know what I mean? It's done. I just had to make sure that I clear out all the like close corners, all the weird shit for my team. Make sure I drag all the utility onto me, and then it just opens up for them. I mean, and you just got to be okay with that. That's just Neon in a nutshell. But you know, you have people like Miniboo who make it look insane sometimes too. But even him today, he wasn't the star today when they played. We'll get to that later. Speaking of Dicey, he had to sub in for Lev because Osbos's visa issues, but just to clear the air, I'm pretty sure Osbos is back now. I think I saw him in scrims on my friends list the other recently, so he's back in time. But that was cool. It would have been cool to see Dicey play. I wonder how he would have done playing in VCT. I wish I could have seen that, but we're not going to see it today.
A lot of the Brazilians are having trouble. So like even MIBR's in this weird thing because a lot of players can't get visas. So I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't know if they're going to pick up other dicey type players like, Shaz or Baby J, which you and me are kind of hearing. I have no idea. But I think the visa thing is really unfortunate. I'm surprised.
So weird.
Yeah, I don't know why, and I am certainly not judging or being critical of anyone on those staffs. I'm curious as to why, because I know Furious situation from when I was GM, remember? I'm curious about these visa issues because I would have assumed that they would have been able to be there longer, let's say. But I wonder if what we did at Furia was slightly different, and therefore the type of visa also was slightly different, and therefore the time and everything was. Because it was weird for me because I didn't have technically this problem last year at that time. 5 months in, because we went to LA. Everyone was in America by February. Mid-February, everyone was in Miami. And then literally early March, we were already in our apartments in LA. And I wouldn't have had this issue until midsummer, which I guess technically it is midsummer.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, yeah. So when I was hearing all this, I was like, oh, that sounds a little early. I wonder what happened, but shit happens.
Yeah, that dude, Visa stuff is like it's so inconsistent. It's like sometimes you got the plug that'll get it to you right away. Other times, all of a sudden, you got to do it like the longest way possible. You got to take a million fucking flights everywhere. I've always been blessed, like knock on wood, never having to deal with BS with visas. Thank God for the China one. I already had one from 10 years ago. That was hella clutch. That was hella clutch because I was filling out the new form, bro, and the new form was. I mean, they want to know everything about you, your moms, your dads, what they did, bro. Like,
I know.
my God,
I was surprised by that
my
too because
God,
I had to do one, and I'm like,
bro. It was not like that back in the day. Let me tell you that right now,
because
bro.
every playoff team had to do it before because they didn't know who was going to make it yet, right? And you wouldn't have had the time if you waited. The shit they were at, bro, they were asking for like how much income they make, like
bro. Yeah,
it was like
it was
yo,
some
y'all
shit.
tripping.
It was some shit. It was
actually crazy.
It was fucking crazy. Anyways, we'll move on from that. EDG bring in Wood A1. Again, I don't know too much about this region. I don't know anything about Wood A1. Do you know anything about this guy?
Yeah, so he's a Crossfire player from Crossfire HD.
Shut up, bro. He's a Crossfire player, bro.
Not even a Valorant player.
Is he nice?
He's a Crossfire player. I mean, they won seasons, but he's never won to my knowledge, he's never won a world championship. But he was on KZ. It's like Kings something gaming or whatever. That's about the most I know about him. Was he good there? Yeah, sure. Just like Mazin and DGZ, they're good players. I mean, they're world champions though, but like, I think he's on a similar level. So I thought Mazin and DG are pretty good Valorant players. So I expect the same. This is just them hitting the panic button simply because FPX is the best Chinese team and everybody that plays here.
Dude, FPX is so sick,
FPX is good. And I told you about how good they were before, and I was telling you, man, I was like, dude, this team is better than EDG.
They're
and
sick,
look
bro.
what happened. Everyone, they are really good. I think EDG is just realizing that they're no longer the guys. EDG, when they play FPX straight up, they still win. But it's like a big brother, little brother thing. But FPX against everybody else is a much stronger opponent than
it's just like a matchup thing, eh? Like they just have their number type shit.
So I don't know if this makes them better because again, I'm not gonna get too big into the weeds here. I definitely don't want to cause any more controversy with me and former players. All I'm gonna say is this: Crossfire players, though I think the skill translates very easily here, the minutia doesn't. For instance, angle advantage, the way you clear corners. It's not even like slicing pies. It's like other techniques. There's so many things that are different. Yeah.
There's a lot.
I wouldn't expect this move to like change the world. I'll give you another quick example. When Rise picked up your former teammate Superman's aim is what everyone was like, whoa, about. When you looked at the macro when he was playing Brim, especially, you notice early on he was not a lineup guy. And positionally, he was always in the front. And a lot of times he would die I don't want to say very early, but like he'll die in the fray. Similar to Cryo's positioning now, which is a conversation we'll talk about later. Cryo just wins every one-on-one. But if he didn't, their smokes player would be dead early. Like it's like kind of crazy. And I can see that Crossfire players,
we want to fight.
They don't care about the late game as much. So I wonder if this is I don't want to say they're sacking the season. This is not what I mean. But I wonder if they're going into this with an open mind going, whatever happens this year, if this is like a long-term play, right?
Maybe.
Because if you look at how Superman, Mazin, DG Zin, are you Overwatch or Crossfire in your heart? Honestly.
Fucking both, bro. I don't know.
Okay.
I've been a pro in so many games, bro. Like I got a little Brawlhalla in me. I got a little Halo in me, bro.
Right.
I got everything, bro.
So the way you guys have acclimated to Valorant, I'm not low on this move because certainly I see like
a little late.
A good Crossfire player could work. Right.
A little late.
But we'll see how things develop, but FPX is still my team this year at least. They're still the best Chinese team, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I love them.
Not even close.
I actually love the way they play. I love,
good, by the way, too.
I love that. I love that FPX has like their own unique play style, and they actually just own it, bro. I love that, bro. The triple smoke, dude. The triple smoke comps, man. I was so impressed with the fact that they were even watching like the gaps that were open. I mean, the fact that they were able to default, which is something that EDG failed miserably to do in Shanghai. Bro, the default, bro, and this is what I'm saying. It's like, is it really a player diff? Like, I don't think it's a player issue. These guys weren't even 4-1ing correctly or anything. Like, you're running the Lotus, bro. Remember Lotus? We can go on forever. We can go on forever.
I will just say this: FPX helped me understand the strength of Clove and Omen.
Yeah.
Which, without giving too much away, I spent a lot of time in the off season
theory crafting.
Right. So I will absolutely say that I was already leaning towards a possibility, but seeing it in real time goes, okay.
Bro, it was beautiful.
It absolutely can work as well as I think it can. I just need to figure out other things. And, I think I've done that. I don't know. But the last thing on the topic, I will encourage you and anyone else, if you really want to understand APAC and Valorant, are you familiar with RyanCentral? So he's an EMEA. He used to be an EMEA caster and analyst. Yeah. So RyanCentral is spending a lot of time studying these games. He's actually reached out to me even for my opinions on stuff. So if you ever want a segment of just China, I could get him on. But if anyone is interested in learning about the Chinese franchise league from the X's and O's perspective, RyanCentral is actually a guy that I know deeply studies like Chinese Valorant in particular.
Dude, we should have him on.
Got it.
We're gonna get him on.
Let him know.
Let's run it. Yeah, I mean, everyone in the comments have been saying, when are you guys gonna talk about China? When are you gonna talk about China? And now, after watching FPX play, I'm actually like, I think this might be one of my favorite teams to watch. Like real shit.
Oh yeah.
Watching FPX, like I hope they fucking make it to champs, which I think they will, and then I hope they fucking go. I hope they go as far as possible, bro. And I know, fuck, man, if they made it to that Mercedes-Benz Arena, bro, I feel like they would have cooked. I feel like they would have fucking cooked in front of that crowd,
good,
dude.
Bro.
Life
like
is
I told you.
Out of his fucking chair, crazy energy.
But to me, the one player that I like the most on that team is Lysor. Like I told you, they're Omen.
Bro, I love that guy, bro.
Almost similar to K-Ron on Gen.G. Listen, everyone thinks I hate Texture because I'm like, he's not the best duelist in the world. I keep telling people he's not the best duelist in the world, and he's not the best duelist in the world. He's not. The team is just great together. Munchkin, I think, doesn't get enough credit, but it is what it is. But K-Ron, that boy,
sick.
Him and Lysor are like, I don't know why I keep making NBA references, sorry. But if anybody goes back and looks at the Lakers when they won with Pau Gasol and Kobe, if you don't bring up Lamar Odom, you're trolling. And that's how I feel about these players. Bro, K-Ron gets the most timely kills. He's basically, the best way I could describe it to you in Valorant terms, he's pANcada during their run. Loud.
Yeah. Oh, I see it. I actually can instantly see it.
K-Ron is the one that cooks us when we play them. It's K-Ron. And I imagine Lysor, if you look at the timely kills and his positioning and all that stuff, he reminds me so much of K-Ron. And I think even though players like Life and I guess Autumn are going to get a lot of the like pub, I think their smokes players are low key, like kind of godlike.
Fire.
So I for one root for Lysor on FPX. I like him a lot. And if anybody is a fan of K-Ron, they should look at FPX where they play and look at Lysor in the same lens because they basically are similar players. So it's nice. It's nice to have a guy like a young player like that.
Yeah,
that can have that much impact day one.
By the way, Lysor, he's a cool ass kid as well. I mean, literally after they lost, dude, I met him, and after they lost, I think I talked about this in our last pod, but I'll just bring it up again. literally as soon as they lost, it was like a close ass OT game against somebody in the lower finals. I forgot. I think it was Heretics, maybe. I don't know who they lost to. I think it was Heretics actually. That was that match where Woot had that crazy ace. But that was a close game. Remember that went into like a
No, they did.
couple
It was
OTs.
1-2. It was close,
right? And they
close.
were in the lead a couple of times too.
Yeah, that icebox was mad close.
That was disgusting. But
yeah,
even after that game, bro, he wasn't like upset, crying or anything. He actually like walked by me. He was like, "Oh my god, baby, such a big fan since Overwatch." I'm like, what the
yeah.
I'm like, bro, like you just lost, bro. And he's the sweetest kid. I was like, bro, if you want to run some games, let me know. He's like, nah, I'm going on holiday for a week, all this shit. But yeah, we took a picture together. Everything.
Yeah, they
in the
deserve the break.
Dude, he's a cool ass kid, man. Cool ass kid.
That's a dope story. No, see, I don't know anything about him. I don't know if you know.
And he was like, "I'm sorry, my English isn't that good." I'm like, "Motherfucker, you just told me your English isn't that good in like a perfect sentence." I'm like, "Bro, that shit's
what is
gas.
It with Asian? Bro, in Korea it's like this too. Everyone is so deathly afraid of talking because they're like embarrassed about, you know, their English isn't good, and then you speak to them and you're like, "What do you mean? We're carrying on an entire conversation and I'm like speaking as normal and you're responding to me as if you completely understand what I'm saying." Huh? So I don't know what it is.
You know what I think it is? I think it's like that. Like in certain languages, like for example, like Mandarin, right? There's so many different cadences that you have to do, like according to like who you're talking to, like who you're addressing. And in English, I feel like it's just you just talk. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not really like that. Like I mean, there are like semi-formal ways to say things, but for the most part, you don't really need to in like normal conversations. But yeah, like Sue, with like Yinsu, she was telling me like. She was like, "Oh, like I have to like say everything properly and like perfect when I'm talking to somebody else that speaks Mandarin because like if you don't, they'll just judge you for it." You know what I mean? So I think maybe that's why.
Yeah, I also think Asian culture is much more strict about these things.
Yeah,
in America, we don't.
We don't give a fuck.
I break down my English. So the way I speak on the show is not how I speak to my guys. You should hear how I speak to Jit and Surf. I speak broken English.
Broken English. Yeah.
I'm Daniel Cormier, and they're like Khabib. I like break down my English to speak to them. I sound like I'm a foreigner.
Just smash.
Yeah, I sound like I'm a foreigner when I speak to them. Like if we went to Thailand, everybody would think I'm not American. They'd be like, "Oh, are you?" I mean, probably not Thai, but like,
for real. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So like we do that. We break down our language to match theirs rather than like judge them for it. So it's like kind of weird. So like yeah. So the perspective is just very different. But I know like our team manager Ray's like that here. He's like, "Oh, my English sucks." I'm like, "Bro, we were just having a like hour-long conversation and you didn't fuck up once. Bro. What do you mean your English sucks?"
Stop the cap.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Leaves.
Moving on from that, and then we'll just transition straight into EMEA as soon as I talk about this. But Leo,
we're not gonna talk about the patch. That's tough.
Oh, you want to talk about the patches? Did we talked about it a little bit?
Broken. Anyways, continue.
What, like the new patch or what?
Yeah, 8.11. This is. I feel like they're going to be reverts. I feel like this patch will not exist by playoffs. Guaranteed. No shot. No shot. No shot. No shot.
I mean, it is kind of crazy. Bro, at least for me, I've been back for like, what? I don't know. I've been back for like maybe a week now, I would say. Probably even less than a week, actually. Yeah, okay, like almost like a week I've been back now. And fuck, man, I'm getting destroyed in ranked, bro. Like this ISO shield, the neon sliding, and first of all, back when I was playing and I slid in as neon, it was a little bit of RNG if the bullets were going to connect or not. Now this motherfucker slides in, and first of all, like online, there's peak advantage already. So when you're sliding in, and he could shoot that quickly, it just looks like it's like instant on your screen. Whereas before, you would have to wait. Like there's like a dead time on the slide where like
there's a dead zone. Yeah,
you had to wait like at least like maybe a point like half a second maybe before you started shooting to be at least remotely accurate. But now it's like, dude, you slide in, up, boom, shoot, dead. It's like it's so fucking quick. And then the ISO shield, bro. You see all the fucking memes on Twitter, but as soon as the shield pops up, all right, go B. So it's
brother.
It's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit.
I'll just say this: Governor is sort of butthurt because he says it's now they lowered the skill cap on Neon, and I absolutely agree with him. I think the Neon nerf. I think people think Neon is the best duelist in the game, and she's not. And I think people underestimate the stun. I'll just say something very quickly about it without getting too intricate. not being able to stop 2 turns is a big deal. And I don't think they realized how big of a nerf that would be. I don't think Neon needed really any changes. He was already underplayed before.
But
So
by
why
the
do
way,
they think they need a buffer?
I hated what they did with the alt. Like, just so I could just clear the air on this shit right now. I hated what the fuck they did with the alt. I hate that there's damage fall off long range. I hate that you need to aim for the head. I get that they're trying to raise the skill ceiling on Neon, but I agree. I don't think Neon was ever in a spot where it was too overpowered when you still had people playing Raze and Jet. I don't understand sometimes who's making these changes. But maybe they're not. They might just not be catered to pro play at all. Maybe that's what it is. I know a lot of games like to do that. You know,
probably.
So.
But I will just say too that I think since we brought up balance, the ISO stuff is interesting to me because I remember a world where people at Riot were making fun of Hiko for saying that the only thing they can do next to create diversity is to add shields on characters, and they made fun of him for it. I won't say who the person at Riot was, but it was very public. Funny that ultimately he was correct.
Wow, that is shout out Hiko, bro. That's crazy.
Beyond
I just duoed with him today in the morning.
Yeah, the homie, yeah,
bro. He's actually still good, bro. Like, he's actually still good. Dude.
I know he. I say this respectfully. He's a fucking idiot because I told him he didn't need to goddamn retire, but he also needed a break because I will say this:
doing it forever. Eh?
There was something of burnout. It's not just that too. You made a comment about. You asked me a question before the show, and you made a comment about talent and how long we're playing. Hiko went through the same schedule every day for 2.5 years with me, by the way, and he also streamed. So if there's anybody whose work ethic I respect, it's his because I was there, I've seen it, I know
that's
what
hard,
he is.
Bro. The streaming before or after prac, I did it, bro, and like I think I talked about this. This is a big reason why I stopped streaming. I couldn't handle it. Yep. It was too much, man.
He would clutch. He's basically JitBoy. So JitBoys today is the most clutch player in Valorant. Basically, he has like something like a 41% clutch rate. It's like insane, right? I think the closest is like 34, if I'm
That's
correct.
Crazy,
whatever.
By the way. That's a crazy.
This was as of like 3 weeks ago, so it's probably changed. But yeah, JitBoys is disgusting. And Hiko is and I told him this like, I don't know, maybe a month ago. Like, you're basically my new Hiko. Like, my whole thing is, how do I get it into the late round to get you in a clutch spot, right? So shout out to that. The other thing I'm noticing is I'm not really sure, and I kind of mean this with respect, but I know how people at Riot take it. They already hate me anyway, so fuck off. I can tell that they may not play different games because what they did with ISO is basically what Rainbow Six did with Blackbeard. And it literally not only ruined gameplay for a very long time, this is more disruptive than Chamber meta, and people are going to experience this because what made Chamber broken was position timings. But we have Neon that's played now. So having a character go from here to here quickly is no longer like what the fuck jarring because Neon exists and Yoru exists in a much more in a stronger way. Trust me, I always thought Yoru was this strong. People were just very hard-headed and didn't see it, and it is what it is. But back then, movement was just jet dash. Back then with Chamber meta, it was positional. Now it's literally, I get a face shield like Blackbeard, and I get to sit here and fight you. Either hold this or push this, and there's nothing you can do about it because I'm going to kill you because we're both pro players. So I get a free get out of jail free card, and then I just have to hit my shot, and I'm going to because I'm good, just like you. And I don't think they realized how disruptive that would be to have it for free. I'm for it because I'm for it now, right? Like, I'm a Dota guy at heart, so you show me something broken, you gotta use I'm gonna continue to break it, basically, right? But to your point, I think that is a big part of it. Is like, if they had anyone on that staff that understood tactical FPSs from top to bottom, not just CS. There's way more. There's Crossfire exists, and it's literally $1 billion games. Don't even tell me that like CS, because you like it more, is like the tactical FPS king. Like, it's just not it. And then, Rainbow Six, in my opinion, is by far the hardest tactical FPS in the world to play. And you have examples of these concepts in those games that did not work and kind of stain the game a little bit so much that they had to rework Blackbeard, and he's literally untouchable now.
Damn.
So that's why I tell you that I don't think this is going to be the same forever, because there's no way ISO remains as good. But for as long as he's here, I'm here for it, and I encourage all the videos to be sent my way, because
you gotta play it. You gotta play to whatever advantage you can. I mean, like it was the same with guns, right? When it was like now they've done a little bit better with guns. I mean, I guess the Outlaw is the only one that now kind of changed the game on certain aspects of it. It makes teams not buy light armor as much anymore. But remember, like the Bucky, remember the Stinger, bro? If you weren't using these guns, bro, you weren't winning. So I mean, you gotta roll with it no matter what. But still, I think I agree. I think just from my experience in ranked, and like I haven't been scrimming. Obviously, you've been scrimming, so you probably have some experience playing against the ISO. But it's kind of cringe, bro. It's kind of not fun. But also the players that get to play it, I see how it is fun, because, like you said, if you have cracked aim, bro, it doesn't matter in the head-to-head, bro.
There's
if
two
you
players
take
in
the
NA,
bullet and you hit the headshot, it's done.
I'm telling you this because I know you're going back. There's two players in NA that I believe will absolutely cause riot in NA, because everything happens in NA first, and that's when they'll care. Those guys are gonna be like, oh man, maybe we fucked up. Number one, Ospas, if he plays it, for sure. Number two, Jargemo. If both those players play ISO, they're gonna have such an advantage over every other duelist that's playing. That I'm telling you, Riot might be like, wait a minute, timeout. Timeout. You put that character in both those guys' hands, there's gonna be problems. Right? And the obvious would be in APAC, something, Jing, all that stuff. I have a secret one. I have a guy that I expect is going to actually really affect the league this year if this character remains as broken, which you'll have to wait and see when we play. But like, really though, if you put this on particular players, it's chamber meta all over again. Yay, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, Ye would be sick on ISO right now.
It's
Ye would
unfortunate that all these things happened, but I'm just gonna say, you put this on some guys, not every ISO is gonna be built the same, in my belief.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't feel the same way about Neon. I agree with Peter that the skill cap has been lowered so much that Neons are gonna look like, oh, they're kind of the same. There's gonna be a game IQ skill cap, but fundamentally, I think outside of like the intellect part of macro micro, I think all Neons can look the same. I absolutely 100% do not believe all ISOs will be equal. So if you have a guy like that on your team, I think this meta, you now have a significant advantage going into stage 2.
I think you're 100% right, specifically in scrims and matches, because if you put some random rank kid on ISO, throw him into a scrim or a match, he's gonna play like doo-doo butt pie, bro. But if you put Ospas on it, he's gonna know when he should be using his shield. I think that's the most important thing, right? Is when you should actually toggle that shield on and like put it on yourself, because I mean it's fucking super audible, right? It's loud as hell when you put it. So you gotta pick your fight correctly at the right moment, and that requires high game IQ, right? And that's why players like Ospas, Jogamo, I mean, these are players that are going to be really good on it, because they have good intuition. They like taking 1v1s.
Part of me thought about this before, and I thought like Cryo as example, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I don't put Cryo on that list is simple. Angle disadvantage is no longer angle disadvantage with Cryo Shield, with Shield. So Cryo should have a major advantage, because sure, you can see me first, you shoot me or whatever, but I have the reactions and the, blah, blah, blah. So like if you think of like angle advantage, you can kind of neutralize the disadvantage with ISO Shield, because you kind of get like, you can get a kind of like a deeper off angle that may let them see your gun first, but it kind of doesn't matter, because there's a lot of areas where they can't really spam kill you. Of course, there are in this game. Split B main is like probably the most obvious one. How like you don't even have to see somebody and you can die, right? Because the wall pen is like so good. There are a lot of places where if you do enough testing, you'll realize, ooh, I actually can't die here. But if they're lazy, I get a free kill. So it's like they'll kill you, you back off. Yeah, you lose your shield and you might lose some health, but it's basically like risk reward thing. And you would think that with angle disadvantage, a player like Cryo or like can now use the danger off angles to like much success. And right, that's like where conventional wisdom comes in. But the problem is, in my opinion, ISO shouldn't be used like device, where you're like a turret from CS device. In my brain, the way my brain works, if I could have given ISO, let's say, to Guardian or Simple, that's where you get the truth. You know what I mean? Like guys that are like taking the action on T side to you, or Art, for instance, on Furia, Art.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's not there anymore, but like, could you imagine those crazy MFers with a shield?
Yeah, Ospas with a shield, bro. We might see it. We might see it.
That's what. So like, this is where I think I'm like, wait a minute. The guys that were already fearless, this is like way worse now, because now it's like, wait, I can be even more reckless, and I just think of the space creation on the other side. And I think when you have guys like that, it's a pretty nice advantage. So I'm curious to see how, I'm curious to learn from other people. I actually had ISO on last patch on a map, right? That we didn't get to use. Like there's a.
I know some teams ran it on Lotus. I know some teams.
Yeah, I already thought he was strong. Yeah. So
I mean, he's strong as fuck now, bro. If you thought he was strong before, this guy's looking like Godzilla, bro.
Yeah. So I'm curious now to see other ways I can use it based on how other people are using it, because I think I have flexible enough guys I can kind of. Because before it was just me on the ISO Neon train for, I mean, let's not even get into the other character, Harbor Viper. But now I think everyone is. So now I'm curious to see like tactically what more you can do that I just missed, because I fully expect him to be used by every region at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. I think it's going to be played for sure. But like I said, I don't know how good it actually will be until we see it in full effect in like a match. I gotta see it in a match. That's gonna be the big one. And then also just seeing like the right player on it in a match. You know what I mean? Like I said, if we see an Ospas on it or like a Jogamo on it, and seeing how they do,
boys.
Bro.
But those boys are gonna cook, bro.
You know what I just thought about?
Like you fucked.
Yeah, you inspired like my thoughts a little bit, just based off of like the space taking shit. If Ospas is to lock ISO and you're on the defending side and you hear him pop that shield, bro, and he's in your lane, bro, you're not peeking him, bro. You're getting the fuck out of there, no?
You gotta have a trap set up.
And then all of a sudden
some sort of bait set up.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, all that space that you fucking gave up, they have, and now you can actually just play the whole map. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can play that, So I can see how, you give it to somebody. I don't want to call anybody out. You give it a horny Rhino 99, and he pops it. You're like, I bet I'm just gonna sit here in mid and spam you down. You know what I mean? Like whatever, bro. And maybe I'll jiggle you, get the shield out early. But now you ain't jiggling Ospas trying to get his shield out early, bro. Like
and even if you do, it's how many resources or how many people are you putting in areas in order to stop X? And then what type of fights do you give Y and Z? Think like 3 bomb site maps.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. And then you have like people like Tex, right? Or in their case, EG. I think they have a roster that could potentially do this, because, I mean, yeah.
Even APAC, Loki, even APAC on ISO would be fire.
That's exactly what I was saying on Viper.
Yeah, he's
no. Like, how much space you're giving his Viper? Like, that's exactly the name I was thinking. Like,
that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, wait a minute. Like, now you're giving players who, and look, I have no problem saying this, and if he doesn't like this, all right, too bad. But like, you're not going into a series game planning for APAC. You're just not. And that's actually what makes it scary. Is a player like Jogemo can make his team better because of the gravity that he creates. And I certainly think Neon is still number one at that aspect, but I'm curious how much, if you're playing against Ospas, Jogemo, Jing or something, insert other ballers playing this character. How much are you going into this game planning like, okay, when he's here, this is what they like to do, da-da-da-da. All of a sudden you forget to compensate by going, okay, here's how they're going to play off of this, I think. And then you put a teammate in a bad spot and he's getting shit on, and now you're just 45 every time and you're kind of fucked. Like, I wonder.
Okay.
So.
Just another random thought that you, like, just now that we're just still yapping about ISO and just theory crafting right now because it's still so early on. Can you imagine Heat on ISO?
Oh yeah.
Bruh.
Sure.
Like a double duelist maybe type shit, like Kesnet and Heat, like the oh my god, talk about a 1-2 punch, bro.
Right.
I mean, bro, Heat would go hard on ISO, brother.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope
I think that's a low key good one too. Yeah,
right? Low key. I was just like thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, who would be nasty at it?
Yeah.
Fucking Heat, bro.
I think that Governor and Ban this season should roll some heads.
Word.
So, yeah, I think Kesnet Heat is probably like the one we want to see the most now.
I want to see it
because we talk about 1-2 punches forever.
Yeah,
I think that's one. But I think Governor and Ban together are gonna
have sick
fun
too,
this season. Oh yeah, no, they're gonna have fun this season for sure. These comps, unbelievable. Wait till you see.
Also, bro. Of course, as soon as I start casting, fucking Neon gets buffed, bro. Like, are you kidding me?
Unlucky, bro.
I was one of the best Neon in the fucking game, bro. Period.
Get shit on, nerd.
My God, man.
That's just life.
That's life, eh?
That's life. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of life, Leo stepped down from FNATIC. I mean, he's been having health issues. I mean, if you saw him in Shanghai, bro, he looked miserable. Like literally. And man, there was this. I think I told you this story. I don't know if I said it on stream yet, but now that he also disclosed that he had food poisoning and whatnot. Bro, there was this one time where like he was in a match and like I was casting the second game. They were the first game. I forgot what match it was. Doesn't matter. I was using the bathroom, bro. I had to take that shit. I'm not gonna lie, bro. So I was in the bathroom where the players go during half times and stuff. It wasn't even halftime yet, bro. It was like before the half. And I'm in the stall, bro, and I just hear this screaming, bro. We need ice! We need ice packs bad! All this stuff. Excuse me for slamming my desk, and I'm like, bro, there's only one player that I would know that's playing right now that would need these ice packs, right? And it's Leo because he was literally like just having the craziest chills, whatever it may have been, from his food poisoning that he's had for, it seems like, multiple months now. Or actually, I guess the one in EMEA where there was a bunch of pauses. Remember that? It was for his health problems. I think that may have been something unrelated to food poisoning. But at least in China, for sure, he admitted that it was food poisoning.
Yeah,
and bro, that story, bro, like that was like so tense, bro, in the bathroom there. Like it was just like I think it was their manager or somebody just screaming like, "We need ice! Like we need something colder for him." So clearly he had like a cold rag already to try to help him out. But that was nuts.
Yeah,
bro. Like
I think
poor kid, man.
I think health issues are kind of this like variable that most people don't think about when they think about player performance.
Dude, for real.
Whether it's physical, like, wrist, hand injuries or muscle
and even your back, bro. Even your back, bro. Yeah. Like I noticed for me being here, like and not sitting down and in this specific chair for like a month, bro. I was gaming, bro. My back right here was cramping up. I'm like, dude, this is uncomfortable as hell, man.
Right.
Yeah, you got hella people that have fucking hand problems. Like Asuna, the reason why he does the shakes is because it relieves pain. Like that, I just found that out. I'm like, I thought he was just addied out of his mind. I thought the kid was on Adderall, bro. And he watches this, by the way, so he's gonna see this and he's probably gonna laugh. Oh yeah, we talked about you in the bathroom a little bit as well.
I'm sure he had a lot to say.
No, nothing bad actually.
I'm sure.
He just said you're a funny guy, but that genuinely, that's all he said. He just said he enjoys listening to it, and he thinks that you hate him. By the way, and I know that you don't hate him. You actually don't.
Right, but I know he hates me. So like,
I don't think he hates you either. I think he's beyond it now.
Oh, he might be beyond it, but it doesn't.
We gotta get him on. Yo, Asuna, bro, DM me, bro. We gotta get you on here, bro. We're gonna do a little therapy session.
Well, nah, it's great. But I'm just saying, like,
I'm
you
just
know,
trolling,
you
bro.
can tell me you like me, but if everyone
I'm
else
just
that
trolling,
knows you
bro.
says you don't, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. I can handle it. I can take it. I don't mind. Not everybody likes me. Trust me. Shit, ask Cruz. So,
Hey, bro, you can't win them all. You can't win them all, bro.
nah, hell nah. Hell nah.
But FNATIC won against BBL, and Hero looked great. He actually looked awesome. He started off that first map like fucking fired up, bro. Like you know something that I noticed that and obviously it's gonna be like this because if one of your players is literally dying, you know, there's nothing you can do to keep up the vibes. But it just felt like everybody on the side of FNATIC when they went to like the player cams and everything, they looked like they were like communicating really well. They were really hyped up. They were like happy to be there. Like I saw Alpha like the most hype I've ever seen him ever, bro. Like I feel like usually he's kind of just like doing his own thing in a little corner over there. But I saw this guy.
True. I don't normally see him hype.
I saw him
That's a good point.
saw him amped up, like dabbing up Hero, and Hero was getting some nice Odin kills on Ascent. And I went 3 maps, but still they closed it out with a. Is it a stand-in? Like we don't really know yet, right? Like Leo will probably come back when he's done. But
to me, he was last year's best player of the year, and he was one of the big reasons why I was not panicking this season. Obviously, I was unaware of the health issues.
Yeah.
So now that changes a lot, but I mean the roster is still good enough to make it out of EMEA, make champs, and if they're on point, they can still make a run. Especially if Dirk is playing the way he's playing.
Oh, dude, he's back.
So, he was cooking
back, man.
This is a team though that. I mean, I guess this is disparaging for me to say it, but I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying they can't play the meta that me and you just talked about for 20 minutes. So that is my one interesting thought about. Sure, Dirk is back, Alpha's back, they're playing great, but this meta, they cannot play anywhere near the level that, like you mentioned, like e.g. Leviathan that we were talking about or whatever. They can't do that. So I'm very curious because FNATIC, for instance,
that's a great point, bro.
Much respect to FNATIC. Last year, they cultivated a lot of different metas. For instance, Lotus, by far, well, okay, no. For most of the world, FNATIC was by far responsible for the meta on Lotus for as long as the map has been out. For me, I always thought FUT was like, I drew inspiration last year from FUT on Lotus. So, yeah. So I want to give them their respect because I kind of plucked a lot of ideas that I'm still using now.
They're one of the best Lotus teams in the game, for sure. But low-key Gen.G's fire at Lotus, too.
For sure. Oh, hell. Oh, trust me. I know. Yeah, I know. But I'll say that this meta, I think, actually hurts FNATIC.
I think you're right, actually.
So it's not that I'm like not confident because remember last season I was not worried about these issues. Like I knew the deeper the season went, the better they're gonna get, and I thought season 2, they'll be lights out and kind of do what they need to do. I will say though, the balance changes to me. Oof. So Durka needs this level of performance. Alpha needs to be able to kind of like, subsidize, I think, a lot of the power. It's not because Leo's not here. I think Hero looked fine. I think certainly this shows how good FNATIC is, that you can take one out. Just it's the same as Heretics. If you can take a player out and throw another one in and have relatively
good
similar
success
performances across the board, it shows that you guys are a great team, because good teams can't do that. Right? Like good teams are good teams because they're a good team. Great teams are still good even when you take part of the system out and install something new. So I think obviously this is complimentary for FNATIC, but I think if their performance doesn't remain level, it's because the new meta is presenting problems that I don't think skill is gonna like top, basically, if you get what I'm saying.
It's such a unique meta, bro. It's like all those weird niche duelist characters that like a lot of these players that like a lot of the Raze one tricks don't really play at all. Like
I I think Governor had it right, and I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again because I think he was correct, and I think I overlooked this aspect of it. The meta that is presented in 8.11 lowers the skill cap. And I think it's going to create a lot more fun Valorant for viewers and people. I certainly expect there to be tons of upsets.
Mhm.
And if there's one team I think is going to be negatively impacted by the meta, it's going to be FNATIC.
I think that's a fair assumption, dude. And that's not even a diss to them. You know what I mean? It's just. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I've never seen any of these players play Neon. I've never seen. I guess ISO.
I mean, they have
been playing ISO, but yeah,
you think so? But it's so different than the way they play.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you think about like Durka on Jet, Durka's not Aspas style.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's never been. Sure, he can get aggressive, but that's not what I mean. Right. Like Durka to me is like the happy medium. It's like if you go on a scale of like Jet. To me, the scale of like top tier Jets, of course, not like bum tier Jets, top tier Jets would be like Aspas here, Durka here, Cryo here. All top tier Jets, but the ranges of the Jets,
they play so
differently. Be like the scale. If you're asking Durka to play like Aspas ISO, that's not his game. It's not who he is. Now, if you tell me Alpha's going to do it, okay, different story. All right, I'm with you. But then who's going to play?
Yeah.
Right. Who's going to play Sentinel? And this, I think, inherently is going to be the common theme. He could. I have no doubt because he's on Deadlock. But and that's a character I think. I'm surprised we haven't even talked about her because I'm so high. I've been high on her. I also want to give flowers to Fade and Nip. Were the first team that used Deadlock, and when I immediately saw it, I sent Fade a message like maybe 7 months ago. I was like, Fade, I love the pick. I actually think she's low key good.
Damn.
Hell yeah! I was like, yo, I think she's low key good. Like basically when she came out within a month, and I was like, I'm dying to try her. What do you think? So he gave me like the whole 411 on what maps they thought. Yeah. So yeah, I think she's low key good. We haven't even talked about her, and I think she's really good. Unlucky. But yeah, so
you know who's high key good?
Who?
That fucking boy Woot, man. That kid is unbelievable, bruh.
Yeah, but there's one more Woot in Asia. There's another Woot in Asia, which you'll see him next year for sure playing at this level. Trust me.
You'll have to tell us when we get to APAC for sure.
No. Hell nah.
Oh, you're gatekeeping? You're gatekeeping.
100
You scumbag, bro.
100
scumbag gatekeeper, bro. Come on.
There's one more Woot.
Bro.
But Woot is a game changer, and it's completely changed the landscape of EMEA.
Yo, for real.
For sure.
And this Heretics team has changed the landscape of EMEA. They got second. Yeah. We already spoke about this. They played great. I think they just lost steam. Towards that end of the BO5 against Gen.G for sure.
Right.
Look at the last 2 maps, they just didn't have anything left in the tank. But back in EU, back with the main roster, even though they look great regardless. And Woot went plus 32 against NAVI. And it just wasn't even close. Like it was almost a 13-0 on defense side of Sunset. And again, bro, you cannot be playing this team of Heretics on Sunset, bro. This should be an insta ban no matter what. Like, I don't care if you're a good Sunset team. This is troll, bro. They're too good at this map. They are literally miles. Yeah, fuck miles, bro. They're centuries ahead of teams right now on this map. It's not even close, bro. It's not even
disagree.
Close.
It's been my argument even with 100 Thieves and Bind, right? It's like some teams you just know they got it. You just give it to them. You just move on. I don't know why people are trying, but it is what it is. Like it's just unlucky.
You're trying to beat him with a jet comp, bro? That's
tough. That was tough.
I felt so bad for artists because it's probably not even his idea to play jet there, but like, fuck, the guy got completely stomped. The whole team got rid of stomped.
I don't know what's going on in AVI. They got rid of their coach for a new coach they thought would be better. This obviously wasn't the result that they wanted.
It's so tough.
I don't know what's going on. NAVI, to me, if you told me before the year, I thought NAVI is still in contention to be one of the top teams in the EMEA.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I think, though, do not be surprised if NAVI struggled the way we struggled. Our first match, we struggled. We'll talk about it later because we are practicing 8.11.
Okay,
not 8.10. So expect NAVI to get hot and nasty with these comps. I'm telling you.
I believe
you know what I mean?
I actually believe that.
It's like it. I'm not saying that Heretics wouldn't have won anyway. I'm just saying that like you gotta do the mental math of like, do we prioritize the first week or do we prioritize the next 4 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
And which one do you weigh more? And if you're trying to qualify for champs, you have to go for where they're the most points. So teams like Heretics, any team that went to Shanghai has a massive advantage still on 8.10, just like the teams that did not go to Shanghai should have a massive early jump on 8.11. So the first week results to me should always be prioritized.
It's like Fugazi for EMEA
not
and
Fugazi.
APAC.
Who if
not Fugazi?
My predictions, NA, EU, and Pacific, was always going to be, if you went to Shanghai, you're going to win 8.10. Week 2, for all the teams that went to Shanghai, in my opinion, if I'm a betting man, 100%, these guys are all underdogs. I don't give a shit who the team is because it's their first week and they probably only had max 2 weeks practice. These other teams have way more, right? So theory-wise, this is what I'm saying. In NA, you don't have this problem because NA is going to be on 8.11. Don't ask me why there are teams that are playing 8.10 instead of 8.11.
Who knows?
I don't even want to get into this fucking argument because those people already hate me and it's not going to change because I think it is so ridiculous that I had to deal with this. And it is what it is. Every fucking year, it's something else. Like some format bullshit. Playoff 2 is going to be the same as Playoff 1. So basically, Playoff 2 is going to be the same system, by the way, just so you know, where win or go home. Your championship fucking qualification for Worlds is going to be win or go home again. Last time I was a 4-1 team that had to play a 4-1 team, 5-0 team to qualify for Real Madrid. While bums on the other side, 2-4, 3-3, 3-3 are playing each other.
That's crazy.
This next season is going to be the same shit. So I have no idea why, but some teams have to deal with this, other teams don't. So I fully expect the week 1 and week 2 matchups to kind of be decided by basically who had more time on what patch. As ridiculous as that seems, I think everyone should always look at the results for the first 2 weeks as like a non sequitur. Like just don't even worry about building on and look at what team looked strong where. But by week 3, week 4, I think is when you're going to get the real look on what teams are, which for some teams, unfortunately, might be too late. They may no longer be able to qualify via points. For some teams, it might be the perfect time to just start steamrolling.
Go on a run.
Yeah, but I definitely think that the Shanghai teams are going to be at a massive disadvantage early in this season because this meta is, when I tell you, it is way different. It is not, you're not even playing the same game. The math is not the math now. So all of these results for the first 2 weeks, I think everybody just needs to take a chill pill on.
Yeah, fair. NAVI. So this next match in a day for NAVI, right? They play foot. One day.
They got hit with us. Yeah.
Is that on the same patch?
8.11. Now it should be on 8.11. If I'm correct.
That's the new one, eh?
Because I know that's how it was for me. Our game against PRX was 8.10. Our first game.
And then in a couple days now you have
to switch. 8.11.
Okay,
it's the same thing that we have to deal with RQ. RQ now I have to deal with the new patch.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on with so NAVI play foot next in a day, a day and a half, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the new patch. So I'm excited to watch that though.
And the reason I know
if they have
the reason I know that NAVI is going through this is because the Heretics banned Breeze. 8.11, it should have been Heretics ban Haven. They did not.
Yeah.
We had a similar issue, or not issue, but with our picks and bans situation, which by the way, I completely threw. Don't even get me started on that. Because PRX banned Breeze. As you know, famously, Neon, you're on Breeze. So, my old comp, right? So because of that, that immediately signals 8.10. So any single veto that you're looking at, if Breeze is in it, you are automatically on 8.10, and then I think you should frame your mind to be like, oh, well, did that team qualify for Shanghai? Oh yeah, well they should have advantage. You know what I mean? Like, or the teams that got to play on that patch way more, they have more experience. Blah blah blah. So
that definitely makes sense. But yeah, I mean, so I think a team that could deal with this the most out of any team is Heretics, just because if you watched like their start to finish from when they first got to Shanghai and the way that they ended it, and the fact that they were able to switch compositions to a completely different new comp on like multiple different maps. First of all, even play a map that they haven't played before, like Ascent, and actually look fucking great on it, even though they got that crazy comeback by G2, but I still think that they played great on it.
They did.
The fact that this team specifically has a group of players that can adjust in real time to like any type of style, that shows so much in terms of like the game IQ that these players have. So that's why I don't think that they'll struggle as much. And also, obviously, they love Neon already. Yeah. So it kind of plays into them a little bit. But I think that's the most important.
I don't disagree with your logic, actually. Yeah. I think you're correct about that.
Just this team specifically, though. Yeah, just this team specifically. I just wanted to bring it back to Heretics because that's how we started talking about this. They're just so good, man. They're just so like they might actually. I could see a world where they win the championship, bro. I could see it just because of the fact that they're able to do this, where like they can adjust to new play styles. They can copy somebody and implement it in a day. You know what I mean? Like
you're speaking my language. That's
to steal 100 Thieves composition.
Yeah,
a day apart and look more rehearsed and more dialed in on that composition than 100 Thieves. I mean, this shit is like, that's crazy, bro. That's just crazy. But like, how do they have the timing down? Like, how do they
disagree with you.
How do they do it?
It's probably just strict walkthroughs and just like deep discussions. But in general,
in a day,
IQ to kind of do it. Yeah, no. It's hard.
To find players that can apply that shit in a day. Yes, I mean, you're a coach, bro. That is not. That is impossible to find, bro.
Yeah,
maybe a couple guys will grasp it, but to actually apply it in real time, nah, bro. In a tournament, in high pressure. Anyways, let me stop.
No. I think the point you're making,
in my throat, but
I think the point you're making is arguably one of the more nuanced, and also I think one of the most high-level discussions to have. So I think you make a very good point. You're not a coach; you're a player, which I think is even more like impressive that you see this. Versatility is a new currency, but the truth is, it should have been the currency from the game, from the jump. This game to me, I mean, I know people say League, but like this game is really like Dota and CS if they had a baby. And like that's the key there. Versatility is the key, especially for the championship. You bring that up, and that is one of the biggest reasons why I didn't think Gen.G would win Worlds, even though they won Shanghai. Where I definitely feel the exact opposite about Heretics. So I'm more in your line of thinking that now, if I had a favorite, it would be Heretics because of exactly the points that you just made. Because me as a coach, you already know me. This has been my thing forever. And now you're seeing a team do it. Amazing. We're obviously doing it at Talent also, but they are winning or, going deep into majors. And at the moment we are not. So I think they're a better example for this. But I 100% agree. If a team can acclimate to a patch faster than the rest, it should be Heretics. And I also agree that the ability to change identities on a fly pretty much makes it to where you cannot prepare for that team, which also gives you an extra boost going into matches, which I've also always been keen on. So,
insane.
You're right. Team is goated.
Just like that, we in APAC, you guys have the most matches played out of any region right now. I feel so bad for Achilleos and Paperthin because
I know
they go from Shanghai, they get like barely any break, and they're just already casting it. Same with Mika as well. I mean, everybody from the squad, from the APAC. Also, that's a whole other story. I found out about like a lot of the back end stuff. And that shit's just crazy. I'm gonna keep it at that. That's just crazy.
Yeah, we'll talk about that offline for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know what you mean, but I know some other stuff.
Team Secret, 2-0 Global. What do you think about the looks, like the new additions? I mean,
First off,
Global's not good. I'm sorry, Global's not good.
No, they did. No, right. But Global should have won this game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they should have 2-0'd in reverse. Very timely kills and clutches from 2GE and Wild Oreo. Wild Oreo obviously dominated. I mean, he dominated Split. He controlled the pace, which was very good to see for a new player.
That's facts.
And 2GE had a lot of clutches, I believe, on Split, which changed the game also. But Global had every opportunity to win this series and games, and the macro is how they were doing it. They just couldn't get over the micro, which I think was Secret's idea when getting these two players also. I don't necessarily think that job was done per se, because you're not going to be able to do that against T1 and others. Like, the way they won here is not how they're going to win against other teams. Global fucked up bad because they could have had this, and it just is what it is. There's just nothing you can do about it. It's gone now. Also, I will say, and I mean this with respect, but I'm also tired of seeing this also. So if they get pissed, I don't give a fuck. But I'm tired of teams that are scrimmers. The stuff I see GE do in scrims that do not happen in games pisses me off, because it's not just GE, by the way. So this is all of APAC. I'm not the only person saying this.
In every region as well.
Right. Yeah. But it is insane that the things that I see them do, bro, let me tell you something. GE, if you get practice GE on stage, GE is one of the best teams in APAC. I'm letting you know this today. They are top 3 in APAC free. Free.
I just can't see it. I just can't see it, bro. I'm so sorry.
Bro, I am telling you, when you play them in practice, these guys are monsters.
Oh, God.
So why is it that it is not translating the other way? I don't know, and it's not my job to judge. I don't care.
It's not reliable, clearly.
That everyone is giving GE, the coaches, the owners, everybody a hard time. And I'm telling you, the roster is good. However, I don't know what the fuck happens when they're on stage. And that is something that the players are going to have to figure out, the coach is going to have to figure out, the ownership's going to have to figure out. But if you get the best of GE, these guys are monsters. How you get the best of them, that's somebody else to figure out, not me. But so I know you're not high on them, and I understand why you're not high on them. They don't show you shit. But in practice, they're worse than you were on FaZe.
But bro, but
they're worse.
Here's the problem with this, is that you're at a tier 1 level with a bunch of players that have experience, that would love to have this opportunity on stage and actually would perform on stage. If you don't got it right now, there's nothing wrong with that. Play tier 2 till you got it. But and this is a whole nother problem of trying to pick up players that look promising, but they don't have experience. You have to find that mesh, because you can incorporate like a player here and there, that's a young player. But I don't agree with some of these roster moves with some of these teams, especially when they cannot perform on stage, bro. And it's been a while now, right? It's not like, I mean, we're on stage 2 now, bro. But I guess that game was kind of close, though. You're right. Like, I looked at the scores.
No, sure. I'm telling you, they should have, bro. They should.
Also, I don't know any of the players. I don't know any of the players on that team, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know the players. I don't know the coaching. So, like, don't fucking hate me for saying this shit. I know nothing about you guys, but hopefully, I will one day.
I mean, in fairness, I don't either, really, other than like I'm here and I play against them and I know a little bit of the coaching staff and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, like,
they have more potential.
I know what your opinion is. The opinion everyone else has.
It is. It's a very broad opinion. Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell you that I'm telling you, this team is a fucking menace. But they just don't show it on stage, and I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Gotta figure it out, bro.
If they did, they are actually one of the most solid teams in APAC. Wow. As funny as that may sound coming from me, I'm telling you, it's not cap. It's just unlucky. Like, to me, I think Team Secret dodged a bullet there, because that would have been a bad way to start the season. So they got the job done. The 2 young guys showed what they were supposed to show, which was very good. One with clutching and one with just controlling the entire pace of the game. So you look forward for them I look forward for them to carry this momentum.
Yeah.
And they just need to like continue to evolve in other areas, because that was a battle that they were very close to losing. Very timely rounds. I'll just say that. Very timely rounds.
Kind of similar to the other game that they played. I think they played this game first, actually.
That's another one.
I skipped the game. Yeah, the bleed game.
That's another one.
The bleed game.
The amount of throws from DFM is crazy. But I'll say this too. I said this about us in Secret and Kickoff. DFM at one point, I believe on Ascent, had 2 players go like 9 and 17 and still almost won. I don't even know how this is possible. DFM had every right to win the series and didn't. And I felt so terrible for them because, you know, they've only won 1 game in 2 years. So, but this one should have been signed, sealed, and delivered. And the amount of throws, which credit to RRQ, they are able to steal games even if they're not playing at their best, which you need to be able to do.
Yeah, you have
team.
to.
We just talked about that with Secret, right? If you're going to be a good team, you need to be able to win when you're not playing your best.
Yeah.
So, but
what do you think about Monier on this roster? How do you think he's incorporated in? Do you think they're stronger with him, or do you think? Yeah, but like, so what are your thoughts on it? Do you think they're stronger with him, or is it like it's the same? Doesn't really matter to you type shit?
Like all of APAC, the aim is stronger, I guess.
Okay.
But the game isn't. And I think it's very clear when you look at the DFM series that, you know, you're leaning more micro than macro.
It's not there yet.
No. But in fairness, could also be 8.10 as opposed to 8.11.
True.
What has the practice time been? Where is it? It's the problem. So we won't get a real look. We play RQ this week, so we'll see. Like, I'll be able to tell you after. But
yeah, we'll talk about it next week. Yeah. So everybody watching, just bear with us for this first couple of weeks, because there's only NA again, just to clarify, only NA is playing on the new patch. Everybody else has to play a couple matches on the old one.
So, you know, it is what it is. Yeah.
Sorry, bro. Anyways, okay. Gen.G beat T1 2-1. It was a banger. Yeah, that split was close as hell.
That was a banger.
T1 on Lotus, they're actually good. I like Saya on Chamber on it. That's like, I think that's a change that they made.
Yep.
It's been looking pretty good. I think Saya's sick, bro. I think they had Excurate on the Chamber before. I'm glad that they're now using Saya a little bit more. Maybe that's because they trust Izu more on that Raze role potentially. But again, do you think they're gonna? It's just so hard to gauge if they're even gonna run shit like this for the next patch. It's like even Raze. I'm not seeing a lot of Raze anymore either. Bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you add stacks, absolutely not. That's my guess. So I don't think that team is. I don't think the meta favors that team at all. But
yeah, like who's gonna play Neon?
Performance. Does Izu
play Neon? I don't know. Low key though, Excurate on ISO would be cold. Because he kind of plays like that fearless style where like you remember him on Harbor on Icebox where he just like entries in and like finesses around his smokes. But anyways,
yeah,
Excurate is having a rough time on the Omen right now. That's for sure. That's something that I witnessed. But hey, Stacks is good though, bro.
Oh, trust me, I know. Believe me, yeah.
You know. Do you know the reason of Carpe's leave? Was it because of Stacks or was it because of military? Do you know the reason? Because I forgot to ask, and I feel like he played great in Shanghai. So I'm just curious.
I'm only going to say that
I thought he played amazing in Shanghai, bro.
I mean, he was almost replaced after stage 1 anyway. So that's
okay. All right. Yeah. Fair enough. So. Teams. I just feel like that team is just it's all over the place, bro. It's like I don't think they know where they even want to go with the team. Like, and I'm talking about not the players. I'm talking about like the management of that team. I don't think I think the coaching and the management don't have an identity of where they want to go with it.
Yeah,
and because they kind of have parts from everywhere. It's like now you have Stacks, you still have Rossi, you got Excurate, who's like kind of fairly new still. What is your core? You don't have a core.
I don't know. Do you want the truth or the politically correct response? Because the problem with that is not only do I know a lot, but I also like, yeah, I mean,
whatever you're open to sharing that you don't feel like will put you in a in the shit house, you know?
I'll just say it didn't have to be this way, but yeah, they're just all over the place. Yeah, let's just do that because
I miss ZETA, bro. I miss ZETA. I don't know. I miss that boy.
Yeah,
I swear he was smarter than people think that he was.
No, he really helped Cloud9 while he was there for sure. For sure.
We also got to look at DRX with the new squadron, and didn't look as clean as it probably should have. Like it's
expected. They went all aim and hoping that the coach.
Hey, Flashback looked fucking sick
for sure.
But so again, they played against
see what happens.
ZETA, and obviously ZETA are no slouches, but still, it still wasn't like clean. You know, I don't know.
ZETA also, I thought, had an opportunity here. Obviously, Icebox didn't go the way that they had expected, but
you think so, bro?
I mean,
hey, they weren't the first.
Listen, exactly. I can't. That was my fault too. That game plan was literally, all right, guys. Here's a week to fight these guys. Let's do it. Trust me, it's gonna work. All right, my bad. Never doing that again. My fault.
Do you think that was ZETA's game plan too, going up against DR? Yo, let's fight them, bro.
In fairness, though, I at least did it against a team.
I'm playing.
That is YOLO Dolo, right? So I figured they'd be like, "Oh, this is a macro team. They're gonna play this way. We're just gonna, you know."
Honestly, I don't think it's
doing that against DRX was kind of crazy.
I don't think it's your fault, bro. I think if you had the right team, bro.
Maybe, but
if you had me in there, I would have fought fire with fire, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, but
yo, you would have told me that. I would have been like, "Fuck yeah, we're running." I
know
down,
what our
bro.
win condition is, and that was not it. And I tried to like, you know how it is. You try to like find where the inefficiency is, and you find it, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh wait, there's a reason that was an inefficiency. It's because these guys are gods at this, and you know, it's doing this.
It's all hindsight. Sometimes you gotta try shit. You know, sometimes you gotta try shit. You know, you never know. Like, what if it worked though? You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden.
Yeah,
when you no because real shit.
No, it's true though. It's most of life. If it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't, you look like an idiot. That's just unlucky.
But bro, a part of the downfall of our FaZe like Schmeeg era was when teams started fighting fire with fire though. Like actually, because all of a sudden I didn't have all the space for free, and people were like fucking doubling up on me on my entry. Like before I would even dash. You know what I mean? And this is back when the jet dash was instant. I would have to pop it to save my life. You know, just because I was fast like that. Now you can't do that shit anymore because you gotta pre-pop it. But still, like fighting fire with fire is a real thing. Like I mean, I know it didn't work. I know it didn't work for you guys, but if you give a team too much respect or an individual player that can take over too much respect, like an Osboss or like whatever, and this is obviously what when he doesn't have a shield, because when he has a shield, you should respect him. But you get what I'm trying to say. You cannot respect a lot of these star players that can take over the game. You got to be able to sit them down too, you know, and be confident doing it. So
part of the error wasn't just the game plan; it was also the preparation.
It's like how you did it.
Yeah, because like if you're not a YOLO team, you have to actually like
you got to practice it. You got to rep it out,
right?
Yeah.
You have to And I don't think we repped enough YOLO to do it against the #1 team at
YOLO. Yeah, no real shit.
And that is probably the biggest issue I think I had post with what I did.
Hey, unlucky, bro. Next time.
Maybe we weren't ready for all these fights and angles, actually. My bad.
Next time, just coach Heretics forehead.
Yeah, nah. There were others that were like, nah. You already talked about one of them.
I'm just talking shit. I'm just talking shit, bro.
But yeah, so I think the new DRX looks fine. It's just whether or not late in tournaments they're gonna have more success than the last one did, because it turned into macro, not micro.
Can you beat 5-0? What's better than 5-0? What's better?
I think is I'm only gonna say this one more time on this. I think if people think that late in tournaments it's micro over macro, I don't know what you're watching, because if that's the case, PRX would have won 5 titles. So everyone shading from macro to go to micro is only a Band-Aid fix right now because everyone else did that.
Why do you think NRG brought Pujan back?
And it's
not the micro.
It is what it is. Let them do it. Let them think this. Let them continue to whatever, man. But it's whatever, bro. T1 is going to be better with stacks.
Yeah, I agree.
It is the one thing they lacked severely. And now they have it in spades. Good luck. Good luck. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the micro looked fantastic from DRX. They were cooking. I mean, they did lose 13-5 on the other map, but I guess, you know, it is what it is.
It's like growing pains. Right? Growing pains and shit.
It is what it is. Yeah, but they look good. Let's see what happens.
And that's it. I mean, by the time this next podcast comes out, or not this one, but when we do the next one next week, we'll actually have a better understanding of how good Neon actually is, how good ISO actually is. We'll get to see what regions are playing what, because NA is going to start playing this weekend. And it's my birthday weekend, by the way. So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
I might stream. Who the fuck knows? We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Congratulations to Gen.G again. Apparently I'm a biased caster, but I love you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, were you biased? You were biased against Gen.G, right? Not for them.
You know what, bro?
The narrative.
I actually
the narrative.
Well, yeah. So I was biased against them, and then when I did the final, I actually voted for them to win. That was the first time I voted for them to win, and they won. So I guess I'm biased for them now.
I did kind of tell you though that style was gonna cook. No,
you did.
Right? Like it's
but for me, I just wanted maybe I was a little biased. I was just trying to get NA all the way there. To be fair, G2 made it very far, a lot farther than everyone thought they would.
G2
and Icy
G2 did better than I thought they would. So I have no problem admitting I got egg on my face. I did not think they would be that good.
Real.
I was higher on 100 Thieves, which you know.
Me too. Actually, me too. I thought 100 Thieves could.
G2 I slept on. I mean, I don't sleep on that. I feel like I've been enough. I feel like I've been complimentary with G2 though. It's not like I've been like trash. It's just I didn't think. Yeah. I just didn't think they could make a deep run, and they were ready to make a deep run. And that's even saying we scrimmed against them, and they were giving us the business.
So they're good. Bro.
I'm not even trying to be like,
Icy's fucking good, right? He's actually good.
Yeah, he's coming on well. I mean, you could tell he's well coached, well prepared. Obviously, he has strong IGL. I don't know. Instinct told me they were not going to be ready. They somehow, they were ready.
Did it, bro.
And they did what they needed to do, and it was fantastic to watch.
They did what global esports still hasn't been able to do.
And that is great point. Because that team also cooks in scrims, and everything we saw in scrims, me and Cruz will talk about this. Everything we saw in scrims, we saw put in Shanghai. Yep. Me and Cruz actually talked about this. He's like, dude, the shit that
they're efficient.
We got beat up on a map
G2
really
are
bad,
efficient,
like really bad. Like I'm talking like 18-6 bad or something, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, man. Like I like how they took this, blah 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 blah. Like, this was good. Okay, cool. And then they did it in game, and it worked the same, or like on stream, and then it worked the same. And we were like, dude, I don't think anybody can stop this. Like, how do we stop? So then we started thinking of like, okay, if it happens again, here's what we got. So great point, by the way. Great point by you. Yeah, because we actually internally had a conversation of like, wow, we're really bad on this side. Holy shit! Like, what are we doing here? And yeah. Hopefully Global can actually put it together. I hope they give this team another run back. I don't think it'll happen because the league is too competitive and everything is just, now. So
yeah, it's damning. It's damning. The league is so damning. Actually, just some closing notes as a pro player. I can't even imagine, bro, the stress that everyone's on. Just the fact that you kind of just like play a couple games and you're done. I feel like that's just so shitty.
Yeah, the limited amount of games this year has been arguably one of the worst experiences I've ever had in esports, and I don't think it's actually. I hope I can say this, Nick. If you get mad, I'm sorry, but I talked to Nitro. One of the biggest reasons of his frustration of coming back was how different the system is, and he's like, "This is way worse." I never would have imagined it was this bad. The lack of games and bro. He said. I scrimmed for 6 months to play literally like,
yeah, dude.
A total of like 8 days.
Mm-hmm. And in CS, you get to play a tournament at whenever you want. Really, it's kind of like on demand.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I will absolutely say that CS2 is going to be kicking Valorant's ass for the foreseeable future, especially with young talent. Simply because this system, as it is currently constructed, is untenable. And I will be honest with you, I have deeply regretted my existence in Valorant over remaining in CS. Probably the longer I'm in Valorant, the more I regret CS, especially because people are still hitting me up from CS.
Damn.
Shout out to Andre, the homie. Yeah. I will absolutely tell you that the more I'm in Valorant, the more I regret it. So if there's any young player debating between the two and they're watching this, absolutely take your time in CS2 currently. You have a much better chance of making a career and a life for yourself than you ever will here.
Hey, fuck that, bro. Fuck that, bro. Valorant all the way, man.
Nah, bro, we got to worry about the young ones, bro.
We got Tarek. We got Tarek.
You do have Tarek. You do have Tarek.
Yeah, bro.
You do have Tarek. You do. But I'm talking about as a player, though. Young, out of Overwatch.
No.
If CS2 came out and Valorant came out and somebody gave you good advice, you have to pick the one where you have
a lot harder. But I got to say, it's a lot harder to make it in CS, in my opinion, than it is to make it in Valorant. I think that you'll agree with that.
At a high level. But define make it. Because if you're talking about making a career and a salary, CS2 is much easier.
True.
That's what I mean.
True.
I love Valorant more than CS2. I'm not a CS homer, bro. I haven't even spent a minute on. Well, I haven't spent a minute on CS, but like, I haven't even really considered going back. Like, despite the conversations I said I've had, I haven't really considered it. But that's not saying that if I had a do-over, I wouldn't absolutely consider it, knowing what I know now. And I believe Nitro feels the exact same way, because I don't think he realized what he was stepping into when he came back.
At least he has that option to go back whenever he wants, really, because he's so like prestigious in that game.
Right. But it's sad that we can't keep the prestige in our game.
I know.
Because when they start comparing the two, they're like, wait a minute, this is ass.
There needs to be a better system for tier 2, and there needs to be more incentive for organizations to want to invest into tier 2 to farm up this talent and like make it actually semi-sustainable. At least I think some of the salaries in tier 2, obviously you have outliers like Oxygen and Amity and probably Shopify. Those three are like probably paying pretty well. Maybe some players are even getting franchised, like good
but
franchise
for how long?
salaries.
Because there may not be a tier 2 system the way we see it next year.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna get at too.
This is a problem. Yeah. And I'll give you an example. This season, a lot of, and I'm gonna give them mad love here. Doughboys, tier 2 team, unsigned by the way. Most of my inspiration for a lot of comps that you'll see us run came from either theory work with them or things they're currently running that they've, allowed me to see up close that I understand the strength of. You see what I'm saying? That's a tier 2 team that I'm sort of leaning on for whatever to like get actual game data from in order to help myself and my chances
build compositions, that help with theory crafting. Yeah,
that's an unsigned team that may not be there next year.
I know, it's so sad
because of said system, and this is my point. So
you know what I think? You know what I think it should actually be. This is what I genuinely believe. It should be like this, and I don't know if this would work. I don't even know if it's logistically capable of working. But I feel like for every single team that there is in the actual partnerships, I feel like they should have to have a B team that plays in tier 2 and that they sign for whatever the minimum of tier 2 would be. That is great.
The problem
I feel like
Riot
it would have to be multiple.
Yeah, but Riot doesn't want that. Riot doesn't want them to be able to compete in Ascension, and that's effectively the problem. I believe every team now will want an academy team, even though it's years late. It doesn't matter. It's happening now.
I feel like it makes sense. It farms players up. Like
they don't want that. As a matter of fact, I believe they prefer the LCS system where academy teams are the tier 2 system, and then that makes Ascension kind of weird and all the other things in between. And this is what I'm saying. Or you're going to have to choose. Do I take the guaranteed paycheck on an academy team, or do I risk trying to make Ascension and make franchise? And now you're talking about completely different scenarios here. And this is ultimately what I'm speaking of, is this sort of like disconnect between conventional wisdom and reality.
I feel like I feel like the biggest W in this scenario would be, let's say you do have a Ascension team, right?
Yeah.
And they win. Obviously, you can't have two teams in the league. You should have first rights to select any player that you want on that roster and sign them up to the big leagues, right? To your team,
Sure.
I mean, specifically.
Sure.
And I think what should happen is the rest of it should be, maybe you either have to let them go, or you sell them to like an org like G2 who wants to come in and be a part of the partnerships for the 2 years, right?
Right.
I feel like that makes sense. And,
I mean,
and that way it makes sense to invest into the tier 2 because you get to sell them.
Right. Logically, it does make sense.
Right.
This from day one.
Should I go over there? Should I,
dude?
Riot, yo, Riot, yo, you know where.
Listen, I will never make it there. They've already made it clear. Definitely not a culture fit. I've tried to help. I've actually internally been told to interview by people internally, and only to have been told later that I'm not a culture fit, which is a conversation for a different day. What I'm going to tell you is yes, because there's a disconnect between the MBAs and sort of the gaming guys, the esports guys. And I think there has to be some sort of connecting bridge here, because there's a lack of, I think, foresight that wouldn't be there if there were people. And I know you could be like, oh, they got Volcano and they got, okay, but you're talking about current over past, right? Like, you know, I have all the respect in the world for like Markelov, right? The homie, Marek and me, family. Riot hires him. It's not like, I'm not saying it's not going to be better. I'm just saying that over, like, let's say someone like you that is more current, that is more in the know. That's what I mean. That there's a distinction there between like us dinosaurs of the past and the people of the current. And certainly you can find
a middle ground,
someone that fits and checks all your boxes, but also can actually provide correct insights, you know, and can have the foresight to understand and see these problems in anticipation. But currently that's just not how it is, and it is what it is. And there's even a rule. Look, I'm going to say this now. I'm trying to fight for this, but there's so many rule changes that I've tried to change, and I've actually wrote like papers and reports to write about, like timeouts for change and some of the other things. How is scrim sharing legal and not in the fucking rule book? How is it legal? How is there a system and a network of cheating and it's legal?
Talk your shit.
Next year, there better be. I'm fighting for this now. I've already internally fought for this and hit up people at Riot and talking, and I'm going to keep talking about this bullshit until it changes, because it is fucking crazy that it's legal to literally have a network of people that are working together to scrim share so that your teams have a leg up when you play X teams. And all I hear is competitive integrity, competitive integrity, competitive integrity. And it's just like, at some point, someone has to be the adult.
It's so, it's so hard to enforce, though. That's the thing. It is hard to enforce. You know what I mean?
Right. No argument. Right. And again, I didn't want to, like, on the show, I said there's a technological conversation that we can have too, because they technically have rootkits in all our PCs, so they have access to all our chats if they really wanted. But I'm not even going to get into the specifics of that, because maybe they don't even need to do that, because that's a privacy issue and a lawyer issue that might have to be taken. And I know they don't want to do the work for that. That's okay.
I understand.
But if it is found out, you know how it is, disgruntled players. Look what just happened with Gangsta. You don't think there are going to be other gangsters that are like, oh, wait, you want to screw me over? You want to not pay me? I got you. And if something like that comes out, if the information does come out, and if there's actual proof to this, then the people should be getting in trouble, right? It's crazy that there's proof of this happening now.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of organizations that have the proof, that are coming forward with said proof. And Riot's like, meh, unlucky it's legal. That to me is just insane.
I guess at the very least, they should just have the rule. Even if you can't enforce it, you should still just have it in there to try to dissuade teams in general.
Of course. Especially
and then if you actually somehow can come across like hard evidence, which, like, I don't know how, like, I don't know, sometimes RNG, right? It might be RNG. Maybe
true.
But most likely Bro, the most likely scenario is what you said. It's probably like somebody that was a part of the team that just like got fucked over, and they're like, all right, bet. By the way, we were doing this, but it has to be hard evidence.
Right.
Like the hardest. I don't know. I don't even know what that entails.
Bro, this year, I don't want anybody to get in trouble. It's not even about what's happening now. It's
for
about
the future.
Now that we know that franchising is making everyone go crazy, right? All these roster changes, these coaches changes, all this.
It's a lot of stress
being put on people, right? All these players now going, I need a mental health break. All this stuff. Now that we know this is happening, right? That means it matters more, right? So if it matters more, next year, it's only going to matter even more. Let's have a system in place which prevents this, which should alleviate some stress, because you want to make sure you have the best product on the field. And that also means you want to make sure that people aren't cheating.
Yeah.
And there are definitely different ways to cheat, right? You know, I've even mentioned to Riot, who, by the way, funny enough, had no idea what Spygate was, had no idea about the Houston Astros cheating in baseball. This is what I mean by they don't have people that are current, that understand these things. They don't even realize that real sports deals with this too. And they made it a mandate to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen ever.
Yeah. And anything at a really high level, people will always try to find an edge no matter what. And we've talked about this. And that goes, we're talking about it in a broad aspect with coaching and stuff like that. But I mean, even with the players, I know this is another thing that's really hard to enforce, but like Adderall, shit like that, right? Like everyone will try to find an edge on what they can do.
And at the end of the day,
to help make them even better, right? And it's the same thing with sports, steroids, all this shit, right? Fucking, you know.
At the end of the day, I may be butthurt about this simply because what I will never do, because I grew up in New York City, right? Like I grew up like, you know, in an area where if I know I'm cheating, I'm not going to also talk shit. You get what I'm saying? So like, it's strange for me to hear that some players are the best player in the world, or some teams are the best team in the world, knowing that this is happening and knowing that they're a part of it and knowing what is happening. When in my mind, I'm like, no, but there's a lot of other guys that are not doing that are at their level, and how good are they? Right? And I think that is sort of like my big issue with the scrim leaks and scrim sharing. And I've been very candid about like it cost me a job already in the scene.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I'm not even mad about that. It is what it is. That's water under the bridge. But I know what happens. I know it's I have the proof that the team did that. And they came forward and said it later. I'm not saying that stuff is going to happen again if there's these rules in place. I will say, though, that technically speaking, the teams that are doing it now, they're not in the wrong. And that's what I think is wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
there should be something in writing that says
right
it's not
thing
okay
for them, because it's not in the rules. And that makes the rules, to me, utterly insane, that it's incentivizing cheating. So it's like if you're not cheating, technically you're not trying. And if you're going to talk about competitive integrity, how does that exist within your system? Anyways, that's my TED Talk.
Okay.
Next week.
Good note to end on, and a lot of food for thought. I mean, for everybody out there, give us your opinion on what you think about, you know, that type of cheating. It's not hacking per se. It's not using an aimbot, but it's having insider information on compositions, defaults, stuff like that. So do you think that should be a rule? I guess that'll be our question for the week. So again, thank you guys for watching. I think we were trying to close this out before we went on a little rant, but we were vibing, man. We missed a week. We had a lot of shit to talk about. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Episode 10 of SpikeTalk. We'll see you next week for the new meta of Neon and ISO, and good luck in your matches, FrosT. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Brother.
Jesus. Holla.
Later.